I should be glowing. I have experienced a lot in my years as a Bills fan. This is one of the very few times where not only has my team won, they've blown the other team out, and I'm still pissed. I know what you're thinking. It's like you beat the team 40-9, and you're like, well, that long snapper was just a little off. You can take the Bills fan out of the drought, but you cannot take the drought out of the Bills fan. For me, watching that Panthers game, I feel like we just delayed the pain. We are in year 8 with the McDermott as head coach, Brandon Beane as GM, and Josh Allen as the QB, and we are still dealing with issues that we dealt with in year 1. Surrounding Josh Allen with elite receivers. Now look, the receiving core that the Bills have is good, but there are different styles of wide receivers. You have slots, you have power slots, you have yak receivers. There are boundary receivers. Khalil Shakir is a fantastic yak slot receiver. He can play on the outside and play the boundary a little bit, but that's not really his game. He's better suited as a complementary piece to someone who is on the outside. So I know that the Bills went out and Brandon Beane made a big splash for Stefon Diggs, but we all know how that ended. There's kind of this attitude, and it's widely known as everybody eats. Everybody eats as far as the receiving core. Here's the problem. Nobody's mouth is open to eat. I love Brandon Beane. I love Sean McDermott. I've been a defender of sorts. What Brandon Beane has done is phenomenal. The first draft he ever was a part of, I wanted 3 particular guys. I wanted Josh Allen, I wanted Tremaine Edmonds, and I wanted Harrison Phillips. Not only did he draft them, he drafted them in that order. So immediately I fell in love with this guy. Brandon Beane has also missed on a lot, and all GMs do. The problem is Brandon Beane has whiffed on a lot of early round picks. He's hit a lot in the late rounds. So here we are, we're going into week 9, and we're still going, man, Josh Allen just needs one more elite receiver that can get separation, get open downfield, like he needed before Diggs. And once again, just like last season, and the season before that, about mid-season, the Bills hit a lull. They lose 2 games in a row. And you make a trade or you fire the offensive coordinator. 2 seasons ago, they fired Ken Dorsey and Joe Brady stepped in, and they got that bump they needed. It's great that Brandon Beane is aggressive enough to know, hey, we need to grab a receiver mid-season. But if you draft receivers and they work out, you have them on a rookie contract. You're signing receivers where you're not only giving away draft picks anyway, which is what you do in the draft, but now you're taking on a contract and it costs more. So not only is it better to obviously hit on young talent, it's cheaper from a business standpoint. There were many drafts where I saw mid to late round wide receivers that he could have and should have taken a shot at and passed on. More notably, traded with the Chiefs, their rivals, and the Chiefs ended up taking Xavier Worthy, who's been a great piece for that offense. Yes, I like the Bills receivers, but they would be great as a piece in a better offense. I said a week or 2 ago, if you want to beat the Bills, take away the middle of the field because they can only throw it behind the line of scrimmage or midfield. They do not have guys that can get open downfield. Josh Allen got sacked in this game against the Panthers. It was like an 11-second play, which means that man extended that play for 11 seconds and still nobody could get open. The passing game was barely a factor, and when it was yak yards or tunnel screens. Now, here's the good news. Max Hairston, their first-round pick corner, finally played his first game and looked good. Michael Hoyt and Larry Ogunjobi off of suspension. They finally played their first game, and Michael Hoyt was involved in almost every single play. So the defense has gotten better. Let's say right now, this isn't going to happen, but let's just say the Bills traded for like a Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson, a true elite receiver. I honestly don't know how Joe Brady would use him. Because if you remember when Ken Dorsey got fired and Joe Brady stepped in as the interim, Stefon Diggs, his production dropped drastically. We knew it was a little bit of Brady targeting him less, but we thought, so something's going on with Diggs. And then I look at this year's offense and the wide receivers they have. They've got some speed. They've got an Elijah Moore. They've got Shakir. They've got Coleman. They've got Curtis Samuel, who's been non-existent or injured. So there are guys, but I'm not sure if Joe Brady is using these receivers to their full potential. I want to throw up a video because let's take a look here. This was the one thing where Keon Coleman stood out in the draft, and it was the shuttle drill. I believe that's what this is called. And it's where you are supposed to run across and catch multiple passes. He did it better than anybody. I mean, he's right on the line. So it makes sense to me that of the few plays where I've seen him shine, he's better at crossers. Why isn't Joe Brady having Keon Coleman run crossers more? Take a look at right here.
In Kansas City that night. Yes.
Straight. That's so hard to do. He's focusing on the ball.
Wow, Coleman's well done. He was flying.
Yeah, so not only did he have the speed, he was on just a perfect line. So why don't we see more of that? I'm not a football coach. I don't claim to be. There's other things that Keon Coleman's done. One example is in this game against the Panthers. He ran, I don't know if it was a curl route, but I know he ran out, he had stopped, he had turned around, which receivers are taught that in zone coverage, find a hole, turn around, sit there. The problem is he sat there like he had cement in his ass. If the defender is coming over your shoulder and the pass is coming to you, you want to go to the ball. He didn't. He just sat there, and sure enough, defender reaches. Luckily, didn't get picked off. He got tipped. So there's like little fundamentals of the game that he's missing, and he's still considered a young receiver. But you know, the Bills are Super Bowl or bust. We can't be worrying about receivers that you're relying on not doing the basic fundamentals. And I don't know what's going on with Allen. I want to take a look at this picture. See that look? That's how he's looked the last couple weeks. That's also how he looked when he was going through BS with his ex-girlfriend right before they had broke up, which was also around the time he was going through all of that well-documented drama with Stephon Diggs. There just was something wrong. It was also the same look he had when he got hurt. There's been a few times where he's gotten hurt, and he's the type of guy, he doesn't tell you when he's hurt. He doesn't even mention it, which is kind of badass because I'm not like that. I'm like, oh God, I think something's wrong. Can we get a medical staff, please? Medical staff. I'd be making every excuse. I'd be at every press conference going, well, I could have made the pass if my shoulder didn't hurt. So that face right there is what I've been seeing lately, which is the same face I've seen in the past when things aren't going well. It's ridiculous that it's year 8 and we're still going through this. You have an elite quarterback. One of, if not the best quarterback in the NFL right now. And you've just surrounded him with mediocre talent. What are we doing besides wasting time? 40-9 over the Panthers? Awesome. That's what you should have done. What's going to happen next week against the Chiefs? We don't have the horses. So hopefully Brandon Beane and the Bills get it figured out. Because I just want one before I die.